So without any further ado, I would like to introduce our presenters for today. We have Abraham De La Rosa. He is the plant manager at North Coast Container. He has held many quality manager roles throughout his career and has currently been at North Coast Container for 7 years. As a fun fact, he is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan, so he's a little disappointed about who's going into the Super Bowl. Our other speaker is Cody Stavig. He's the VP of Ops at North Coast Container. He was named Portland Business Journal's 40 Under 40. He is a lifelong learner with an MBA, Master's in Science, and he's currently getting his doctorate in change management and how it feeds into continuous improvement efforts. His fun fact is that he played for the Texas Longhorns, and this also leads into a recent award that North Coast Container just received. They received the Longhorn 100, which is for the fastest growing companies that have Longhorn alumni in them. So congratulations, North Coast Container. Abe and Cody, I am going to turn it over to you.
Thanks everybody for joining. Before we get started, I just wanted to play a quick video on who North Coast Container is and what we do.
North Coast Container is the largest independent steel drum manufacturer in North America. We are a people company and our passion is to develop the team. Your package is our priority. Customers can count on us to grow their business. We have nationwide coverage with redundant capabilities. We have a full product line, sizes, coatings. We're easy to work with. We're accessible ownership, incredible service, and our entire product line is 100% recyclable. North Coast Container serves all kinds of industries: chemical, petroleum, paint and coatings, food and beverage, military, radioactive material. We make all our packages to UN specifications, and we have a rigorous testing process to make sure everything that gets to you is on time and quality. We use our business system based on the Toyota production system to provide our customers with what they want when they want it. Our people make the difference. We engage the team using our business system. We use tools such as management for daily improvement, leadership standard work, hour-by-hour charts, A3 problem solving, always developing our team to provide our customers what they want when they want it. Our great-grandfather started the company in 1917, and today our family is the 4th generation ownership. And over the past 15 years, we've grown to be the largest independent steel drum company in America. We focus on making our customers successful. We make great products and service with great people. We are easy to deal with, and your package is our priority.
Very good. So I wanted to introduce the topic that we are working on today, which is the model cell. North Coast Container has been part of Northwest HPAC for 15 plus years, pursuing continuous improvement like many companies in fits and starts with several steps forward and several steps back at times. One of the areas that we found where we were making gains was in our rapid improvement events, where we would sit for a week on a particular area, improve something, and then be able to use that process in the future. Unfortunately, we'd have a lot of backsliding in the days, weeks, and months after those events. And we're having a difficult time communicating to the team the expectations for what does a model cell actually look like, and what are all the components within a model cell. For example, the 5S, the TPMs, the quality management, the safety. And we wanted to take out the subjectivity involved in evaluating these model cells so that the operator on the floor would know exactly what the manager was expecting, what their manager was expecting, all the way up to the executive team. And that it was very clear what the expectations would be in a binary way. We started the model cell journey a couple of years ago and have been having good success with this in each of our facilities. Our goal this year is to have at least 50% of all of the cells in all of the facilities using the model cell methodology that Abe is about to explain. And so, Abe, I'll let you take it away and explain how we created the tool and how we use it today.
Okay, thanks, Cody. So before we get started on that, I did want to go over a few just basic summary points just for anybody that might be new. So, what is a model cell? A cell where we can demonstrate our expectations for continuous improvement. What is a cell? It's a group of processes linked together to transform an item from one state to another. For example, the welder, the seamer, paint booth, etc. Elements of a model cell: a clear understanding of value that is expected by the customer who receives the item and linked to the value stream. A continuously safe, clean, and well-organized area. Measures the quality, value, service, safety, and sustainability of the cell. Continually being improved through rapid improvement events, RIEs, PDSAs, projects, or just do it, JDIs. Operators in the group are disciplined. They know what, how, when, and to use the tools to meet the goals of the process cell. Triggers are known from start and end of process, and allows ease for training of new operators. It can be self-managed when it reaches maturity, and the cell is process-driven, not personality-dependent. Few more definitions here, which I'll go over. We have TPM, which is the process of proactive and preventative maintenance to maximize the lifespan and productivity of equipment. It is always maintained by the operator in maintenance and follows the vendor guidelines for operation and service. Pull. Components used in the manufacturing process are only replaced, and they have been once they've been consumed. Companies only make enough product to meet customer demand and eliminate waste. LSW, leader standard work. Prioritize set a daily, weekly action tools and behavior that leaders at every level apply to build and sustain continuous improvement culture. Disrespect to team when not being completed. One by one flow. Build at the pulse rate of the customer's demand rather than building up and stacking of inventory between steps. 6S, a constant method throughout the day of organizing and maintaining the work cell to maximize productivity, a safe and safety that is not measured daily. Visual management, create control, communicating without words, interruptions in process. Anyone walking into the cell should be able to see it if the process is in control, and if not, see the problems. Always maintained and easy to understand. Data is used to measure the cell. Information flow, process for providing the right amount of information is the right format and is in and out of the cell. Standard work, establish precise procedures to make products in the safest, easiest, and most effective way based on the current technologies with a defined start and finish point that is checked daily as a system to identify problems. It is the basis for training others on the process. And training, cell design considers ease of bringing in a new operator, TWI, used as tools with constant initial support. PDCA, problem solving using experimentation and learning, A3, PDSA, JDI. Maintaining the model cell. So huddled cell boards, a standardized visual tool meant to help teams collaborate on and visualize all the tasks necessary to complete the project of managed daily work in a repetitive business process. Info on the board are known by the entire cell team and demonstrated interaction between the team and board. A tool for the shop floor to communicate use issues to leadership. So we currently have those set up on all of our cells. The daily huddle takes place at the beginning of the day with all of the team members, and usually they go over the schedule, any open items, any information that they need to know to finish their production day. And then this is their opportunity to actually give information to us, feedback, so that we can take that on our next MDI meeting and improve on that. Problem counter measure board. So problems are documented and solved on the team board and escalated to a higher level team board. When the team is not available to solve the problem themselves, fixes are verified, managers, and repetitive issues are elevated. What was that? Leadership standard work, a prioritized set of daily, weekly action tools, behaviors, and leaders at the level apply to build and sustain a continuous improvement culture. Disrespectful to the team when not being completed. Gimbal walk. Its purpose is to allow managers and leaders to observe the actual work process, engage to the team members, gain knowledge about the work process, and explore opportunities for continuous improvement. Structured, purposeful walks focused on few elements at a time, 6S, PM, etc. And then plan, do, check, act, daily check of standard work. Okay, so back in 2021, Sean Valladolid, who is the assistant plant manager here, he actually did a webinar presentation on when we first implemented our first model cell when we were at State of Industry. So I'll go over a few of the summary points there, but the problem statement was, since the implementation of MDI process in 2020, there had not been an active model cell. So throughout all the improvements that we maintained throughout our continuous improvement projects, we just were not able to get an active model cell at the time. This affects the operator's ability to benchmark their cell to a standard and limit leadership's ability to sustain improvements. So our aim was to develop and implement a model cell at the welder, which is the heartbeat of our process. It's where everything starts. If you're not welding, you're not making any drums. The scope was the welder cell, which is the destacker, to the flanger. Okay, so quick summary of that model cell implementation was we did implement it using an RIE, which is Rapid Improvement Event. We had a few team members, the operator, the lead in the area, and what they did was they set new expectations for cells, which are driven by the team members. So they had complete ownership in 6S. As you can see in the pictures, they had parking spots. We created a 3-stop box for scrap, and just overall gave the entire area a nice paint job, make it look very good. You know, changing our expectations of, hey, this is just a drum plant. It's okay to be messy and dirty. No, we wanted everything to look nice and clean, as if, you know, it was on a clean room floor. And then along with that, we also integrated a lot of tools to sustain the model cell improvements. So we do have cell boards, a place for everything and everything in its place. So prior to having any cell boards, you had all of your standard work, all of your PMs, any documentation, any logs were just scattered around different areas in the machine. It's very hard for anybody, you know, to go over there and confirm or review documents because they were just scattered around different machines. So once we implemented the cell board, you have everything there in its place. You have the PMs, you have any active PDSAs, any logs, standard work instructions, so that really anybody that's walking from the streets can just walk up to this area and say, okay, I think I have everything I need here to be able to operate this line. Okay, hour by hour. So we implemented the hour by hour to track how we're doing hourly. So like the first bullet point says there, are we winning or are we losing? You know, prior to this, a lot of the time it was, you know, hey, we know we're having a bad day, or hey, you know, I do see some flow, but are we meeting our goals? And we really didn't know until we implemented the hour by hour. As you can see in the picture in the middle, you're tracking your progress, your cumulative and your hour figures every hour to come up with the overall overall equipment efficiency, to see if, you know, hey, are we winning, or do we need to stop and reassess and call it a day and regroup? So the point of the hour by hour is, you know, to know if we're winning or losing within 5 feet and 5 seconds. So it's also a great communication tool. So we should be able to tell how the day is going within 5 feet to 5 seconds, but also operators were able to communicate to us in a quick way. You know, it's hard for us to see an operator struggling and then having to go to his area and say, hey, how are you doing? Are you doing this? You know, how's your PM? And they're like, I'm going crazy right now. So what was easy for them was, hey, you know, you go in there, you're down because of this issue, write your downtime code or your scrap code. And then all I have to do is go over there to the board myself and I can see what your problems are. So for us, that helped us out quite a bit. And like I mentioned, the last bullet point there, just capturing progress every hour, ability to adjust as needed. You know, if the day is going way too bad, maybe we need to stop production, reassess, get whatever problem we need solved, and then set up for the next day to, you know, prevent that from happening again. Leader standard work, LSW. So that is a key sustainment tool. We do have daily, weekly, and monthly expectations on how to check in on your team and their processes. So we do have reviewed and revised monthly to prioritize actions. So what we do have, they're basically checklists for the guys that they have daily, monthly, weekly tasks that they have to complete. When we first implemented this, I know we had problems. You know, I think people were like, well, why am I filling this out? And it's, well, it's your guidelines to your daily tasks, your monthly tasks, so that we're not caught out by anything. And at first we were getting fully 100% complete standard works, and it's like, well, if you're doing everything you're saying and we're still struggling, how is it, how can that be? So it took a while for the guys to really catch on to this and see, oh yeah, you're right, I didn't have a chance to do this, but this is why I didn't do it. So I was supposed to do this, but I didn't have a chance because this broke down. So this really helped the guys to kind of prioritize their actions on what needed to be done, and what's preventing them from doing it. So what we do is we have a review with them every month, and from there we try to revise it to prioritize. Like, hey, maybe the paint booth was your bottleneck last month, but now that's improved. So now I need you to focus more on the seamer because that's where you have the most amount of new people. So this has been a really good tool for us. We're still learning. We're trying to get more people to take on the Leaders LSW, but so far we've seen some pretty good improvements. Plan,
Hey,
do,
Luis.
study, act, or PDSA.
Good. What's up?
We have team members have complete ownership. So the team members bring up the issue, they come up with the solutions, and they track their progress. And for us, we love it here because we don't have to tell them, hey, I need you to fix this, get this fixed. They come in and tell us, hey, I'm having an issue in drum finishing and I need this. So what they'll do is they'll come up with their actions. Okay, what do you need? Oh, I need to try experiment with this. Let me experiment with this for a week. We track it. Okay, it worked out. Second week, no, it went bad. We need to reassess. And okay, and after that, they have another experiment. So a lot of these are driven by the team members themselves, and it has been very beneficial for us to have our guys learn and take ownership of their areas and their processes. Another new thing that we have is sustain the gain. So this was verification that we are sustaining our improvements. So a lot of times we'll have, prior to this, we used to have an RIE event. We would close it, and then, like people like to say, once the circus leaves, things just kind of go back. So for us, this was key for us to make sure that we're maintaining that improvement by keeping track and going back to this, monthly, to make sure that we're sustaining all of our goals and not having to go back to this and then eventually have to do another event because, we reach our goal, it went backwards, and then now we have to do it all over again. And then we have the rubric. So the rubric is tracking progress weekly and monthly. We have different columns that we're trying to reach to. Obviously, we all want to be world class, but there's a lot of things that prevent us from reaching that goal. So from our experience, we have we start off with introduction education. We get somebody new here. We teach them the basics. We try to get them to, first of all, stay with us, and then from there, the execution and learning the basics coaching necessary. So those are the things that we'll move on to the second column. And once you reach the third column, if you feel like things are being a lot more better on their own, you don't have to coach the team member as often. And once you reach world class, then it's autonomous almost. We're currently struggling here is labor. We have a turnover of personnel, and anybody that you do have that will eventually reach an advanced execution column. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll probably promote that person to a lead or another area and basically start that process all over again. So, it's a good tool for us to continue to track our progress and keep up with our employee growth, but it's also something that you have to have patience for because you are going to go back and forward no matter what happens. Things happen, people leave, people move on, people get promoted, people move on to different positions. So it's just something that you're continually going to have to be looking into reporting and tracking. So after the event in 2021, what we learned was, hey, changing behavior was going to be a challenge. We had to completely overhaul the 6S that we had at this old site. Filling out an hour by hour was something new that the guys were not anything aware of. And, we did have some struggle with that. We had, missing minutes. We had operators that didn't understand the importance. And, they would always say, oh, I just don't have time. It's another thing that I have to fill out, another form that I have to fill out. So that was a challenge on our end. But once we did get it operating as a model cell with the minutes documented and hour by hour, we felt that the information flow improved, as did the efficiency. So, all of our breakdowns were easily addressed. Downtime scrap was tracked, daily, so that we knew what we needed to fix instead, fixed by the hour instead of at the end of the day. So we felt like overall, once we got the hour by hour going and the model cell, we saw the efficiency just improve a lot better. And so, that brought the question of why didn't we do this sooner? We struggled upon, having multiple cells and trying to basically, put fires out in different locations. So it, for us, it was good to stop, implement a model cell in one area, see that through, and then slowly work your way down to the other cells. And, since that event, we had added additional model cells to the plant, which was the forming line and our parts coding, and unofficially as well as the seamer. What has changed in 2023-24? So North Coast Container, Los Angeles, has relocated to a new facility in the city of Rialto. So we had previously been in City of Industry for, something about 10, 15 years. So we picked up shop, moved down to this new facility. We had a lot of machinery startup issues while dealing with customer demand. Aside from that, we had, permitting, a lot of outside distractions that really did not let us get down to the model cell once we got everything aligned. With a new plant came a new layout as well, so we had to revamp the model cell to align with the new plant layout. So, previously we had the welder, forming line, seamer, and parts coding, but now with the new layout, forming line was now going to be automated. So we removed the forming line, merged it with the welder, and now you have that person who's basically running the forming line and welder. And also, moving plants, we had new personnel in all model cell areas, which impacted not only our rubric, but our model cell. So we struggled a lot when we started actually making orders for customers, with having a lot of new personnel and a lot of machinery startup issues. We almost abandoned the rubric. I'd hate to say that, but that's kind of the truth. So we struggled a lot to really get things going back in place once we felt, okay, we're ready to go. Let's get people in. Let's start producing. And it wasn't until we started getting back into the rubric that we started to get the model cell approach back and at least start to see some more improvements on our end. So sustaining the model cells, like I mentioned, we refocused the attention back to the model cells. We realigned our levels of leadership to cover all cells. So, when we first started production back here in Rialto, we focused on the welder because the welder was having the most issues. And that's, like I said, if you're not welding, you're not making drums. And, with that, we focused all of our attention to the welder, but we neglected other cells. So what we did was we realigned our levels of leadership so that, I would cover the welder, Sean can cover the seamer, one of our leads can cover the paint booth, and just spread ourselves apart so that we're all focused on different cells. And, the other cells might not be model cells yet, but we're trying to transition into that way. And with that, revisiting the rubric, updating the tracking, getting back into the swing of things, we noticed how much smoother things were when we were constantly updating the rubric and how bad things were once when everything fell apart and we abandoned it. So I don't think we will ever look into completely abandoning the rubric again. And also we regained the model cells at the welder and the formula line, which is now one, parts coding, our seamer, and also just this past week, we added a new model cell, which for our new machinery of the combi line. So this machine is going to cut our own steel and make our own parts. And, when it came to installation, I don't think anybody even had a question. Everybody knew right off the bat that this has to be a model cell. And we got to come in with the model cell approach, because if we don't do that, then, from the get-go, you're going to have a lot of issues. And that was our choice to keep that going. And that is all I have.
Awesome. Thank you, Abe, for sharing.